Gnomes. They stand. They stare. They're everywhere.
My sweet little flower boy.
Gnomeo and Juliet, released in 2011, is a flawless adaptation of the classic tale of Romeo and Juliet, written by old Billy Shakespeare. A tale of two star-crossed lovers who can't be together due to their feuding families, which ends in a depressing tragedy. Everyone and their dog knows the story of Romeo and Juliet. Whether you've seen a loose adaptation in cinema or you've read the screenplay in your grade 9 English class. Now, in my time, I've seen many adaptations of the classic tale. However, none have stuck with me more than the one with the garden gnomes, the red versus blue. No, not that one. The red versus blue gnomes. Now, this tale had an interesting beginning. The film was actually the original idea of Ron Sprackling and John Smith, who'd later sold the script to Disney through Rocket Pictures. Now, for those who don't know, Rocket Pictures is a British film company founded in 1996 by none other than Mr. Elton John himself. The company's aim was to produce family-friendly, music-themed film, TV, and projects. The movie was tossed around Disney for the longest time, cancelled and rebirthed over and over again. And however, after all of this, Disney greenlit the film under the Disney-owned Miramax Films. Now, it's worth noting that Disney later lost the rights to Miramax, but Disney still kept the film after it was released. I believe they lost the rights to it in 2010. The company Stars Animation produced and animated the film. Now, for those who don't know, they are famous for such works as The Pirates Who Don't Do Anything, a VeggieTales movie. And wait, what the hell? 9? Oh, okay, I see you there. Kelly Asbury jumped on board as director. His previous works include that of Shrek 2, the amazing film, and Spirit. Steve Hamilton Shaw, one of the producers of the movie, and Kelly, effectively rewrote the film, sort of from scratch. According to Kelly, a challenge in this process was how to change the ending from the original work. They wanted to keep the daggers and poison and suicide out. So with Elton John on board as an executive producer and the film finally cast, it was about time for release. As the film wasn't animated by a Disney animation unit, Disney opted to release the film through its Touchstone Pictures banner. The film was released on February 11th, 2011, forever changing the movie world for the better.
You boys fancy a little bit of fun?
It's Gnomeo.
That's Gnomeo.
And it's GNU on Blu-ray.
I'm a gnome, and you've been gnomed.
The energy this movie came into existence with was just pure 2010s fun. It was even shown in 3D, remember those? I remember seeing this movie with my grandmother in the cinema. She wanted to watch Gulliver's Travels, which was still in cinemas at that point, but I was very insistent on the Garden Gnome animated movie, and it blew my tiny 8-year-old mind. The story was incredible and tragic and just the right amount of crazy to hook me in. I guess it helped that I loved the music as well. Upon watching it over 10 years later, I can appreciate this movie for what it is, a pure and realistic love story. The plot of the movie is simple at a glance. It's Romeo and Juliet, a tale of two families at odds where two star-crossed lovers meet and fall in love. But the story does go deeper than that. They don't instantly fall in love, it does take time, and they do go on dates and hang out, and it felt realistic, especially given their circumstances. I mean, their families are literally at war. The romance in this film, whilst a little bit cheesy, it's realistic. No one is perfect on a first date. There are awkward moments and comments, and it can be understood, especially when, your families are at war and you're full on in love with the enemy. It happens to the best of us. The movie is honestly really good at showing the audience why these two families hate each other, from Tybalt cheating in the lawnmower race to espionage and sabotage. It's all petty, but it makes sense, and Benny takes it too far with the funniest plot device ever conceived, the Terraferminator. Honestly, this shopping scene just cracks me up every time I see it. And when it comes to the story, it does flow quite nicely. No part is rushed, a lot of love and care was put into this masterpiece. But all of these elements do take a side seat to the phenomenal casting choices of James McAvoy and Emily Blunt. The characters absolutely ooze chemistry, really bringing the film together. Perhaps it's a combination of the casting and the writing, but it just works so well together.
It was a bit more of an endurance test doing it on stage than doing it in the studio. I think, doing it on stage every night, because, you know, you're really going for the tragedy in the Shakespearean version. It is kind of exhausting in that.
In fact, every single casting choice in this movie is absolutely incredible. They got so many celebrities. Dolly Parton's in this movie. There's a Dolly Parton gnome. Her character's name is Dolly Gnome. That's incredible. On characters, though. Each character is really well written and serves a purpose in the film, with my favourite, of course, being Nanette, which isn't a popular choice, but I genuinely loved her and her presence in the movie. It gave me an element of humour and realism I needed, and her support of Juliet was refreshing compared to the other characters on the red side. When it comes to the main characters, Gnomeo is a bold and brash bullhead with a heart of gold. I want to call him a himbo, but he's a pretty quick thinker under stress and is the blue side's golden child. He's immediately shown to be pretty anti-violence, and he wouldn't want to cause any physical harm to the red gnomes unless very much so provoked. He's suave and could probably woo any gnome he wants. He's a kind of a bit of a dork, but he's just an overall likeable guy who I think deserves the world. And Juliet is just such a great character. She reminds me of Jasmine from Aladdin almost. She wants more out of life, so she sneaks out. She's witty and kind and strong, and honestly, if she was left alone, she'd be able to fend for herself. And she couldn't really care less about the war going on between the Reds and the Blues. More so, her own freedom is what takes center stage in her desires, which really helps put Gnomeo in perspective on how he should be viewing things. Their interactions are always a blast, with the characters liking each other but also wanting to one-up each other in quick banter.
What if you want it? Come and get it.
All right. Thanks.
Nice greenhouse, eh?
Oh yeah, you should see it from here.
What, and miss this view?
Nanette and Benny are interesting characters. I prefer Nanette because she's just a genuinely supportive friend to Juliet and respects who she is and who she wants to be. In contrast, there's Benny, who I enjoyed, but if he wasn't there, honestly, I wouldn't care that much. The film does push us to see Benny and Gnomeo's relationship as something important to the plot, but it felt more like Gnomeo's an older brother constantly getting his younger one out of trouble. It's meaningful, sure, but you wish the older brother wouldn't have to deal with it. When it comes to the other characters like Featherstone, I enjoyed the inclusion, but some elements did confuse me. Featherstone played an important role in helping Gnomeo and Juliet reach some conclusions throughout the film, but then at the end of the movie the guy just orders a new girlfriend on Amazon. I mean, good for him. I'd do it too if I could, but it seems a bit contradictory given the very deep and tragic love story he tells us earlier in the film. Honestly, most of the characters played their role quite well, with some funny and interesting characters thrown in for good measure. Now, I can't talk about this movie without talking about the greatest scene in cinema. The hello hello scene. But before I talk about it, I do want to brush on the music in general in the movie.
And he said, I want you to go away and make it, but I want to hear new songs, but I want to hear classic songs as well. And that's a thought we never had. And I've never really let my classic songs en masse into a movie before. But we said, well, we'll try it and see what happens. And it worked out really, really well, because there are certain scenes that are very applicable to the songs, like Benny and the Jets, when he's ordering the Terra Firminator, and the lawnmower race with Saturday Night, and Don't Go Breaking My Heart when they're getting ready for their date. So it kind of worked well. And then James Newton Howard, who did the score, used to be in my band, used to be my keyboard player. So I just said, James, you know, just rearrange, don't make it too, obvious, but just take the little bits of songs and just supplant them underneath the storyline. And I think it really worked. I would never have thought of doing that. The 5 songs we wrote got whittled down to 2, which is par for the course, because, you always lose things when you write things. And I'm very happy with the result.
Director Kelly wanted the music to be almost a character in the movie, where the characters weren't dancing along to the Elton John tracks. Instead, the music reflected the emotions of the characters. Elton John actually wrote about 5 songs for the movie, apparently, and it was cut down a little bit towards the end. The backing tracks of the movie were full of little references to pre-existing Elton John pieces, like Rocket Man.
Feel I'm feeling like head on out to see the sights. Ain't life a man a splendid thing?
The hello hello scene is one of the most perfect meet cute scenes in modern cinema. Gnomeo looks about and the music comes in as Juliet begins running past. His curiosity is pure as he follows her to see what's around. What the noise is, what has caught his attention. Juliet makes her way to the beautiful flower that has caught her attention, and we see them both climb to the top of the old, broken greenhouse. As they both reach the flower, the music swirls and adds, as they lock eyes for the first time, only for the moment to be interrupted by the two characters fumbling around like clumsy puppies or a giraffe trying to walk for the first time. The characters exchange quips, and it's not an animosity, not teasing with ill intent, it's pure fun and flirting, and the way they help each other, without even batting an eye, unburdened by their family's hatred, the pureness of each character. Juliet, a capable and strong character, and Gnomeo, a lovable and sweet and honest guy. They chase each other around the broken greenhouse, whilst nearly falling, but without fear of the worst. The pure laughter of the characters. They're in a safe place. Nothing bad can happen in the greenhouse, only pure, innocent bliss. And as they go for a kiss, the scene is interrupted by the branch breaking, to ensure their truths are revealed. This scene, this one scene, truly, it's truly brought out the best in me. This scene cemented itself as one of the greatest scenes in cinematic history. So, is Gnomeo and Juliet a cinematic masterpiece? No, it's not! I mean, it's Garden Gnome Romeo and Juliet. Have you seen Shrek 2? That is 100 times better. But is this movie an underrated masterpiece? Absolutely. The music and casting in this movie are incredible. The movie is fun and exciting, and you can tell the people who made it were having a great time doing so. Gnomeo and Juliet is a hilarious romance film with incredible storytelling and writing, with great characters and moments between them, and it definitely does not have a sequel. I promise you, it is a one-off film. There's no sequel in this movie. Is my opinion on this correct? Probably. I mean, it is my opinion after all. And you may disagree, and that's totally groovy. Everyone deserves their own opinion. But for those who can resonate with my thoughts, welcome to the club. We don't have jackets or cookies, unfortunately. But we've got Gnomeo and Juliet, and I guess that can keep us going for a while. So, that's the end of what I've created. I hope you enjoyed watching, even if you disagree with everything that came out of my filthy mouth. But if you did agree, be sure to let me know. Or don't. I honestly don't mind. I just really wanted to write this. So you guys have a great day, and I'll see you guys probably never. I'm probably not making another one of these. Have a great day. Bye.